Alrighty. Hello, potential VOD watchers. Just thought I'd do a little Chapter 6 development. I feel like in my last stream I said that I'd do it a bit more, maybe even most of the development for Chapter 6, but ended up not streaming, and, because I had to do a lot of new stuff, and it would not be very interesting to watch, just a bunch of experimenting and learning and trial and error and tedium. We don't want to do that. So, you have a little nice guide for what I want to get done. Hopefully you can get most of it done, but most of it's kind of like scripting stuff. Could be somewhat educational slash interesting to watch, but yeah. Guess I might as well show where we're at in the chapter. I think this is going to be my most ambitious chapter yet, so it's definitely taking quite a long time. But it'll be worth it. So you have this nice little sinking shot. Got to change the lighting to make it more like a sunset, so maybe time has elapsed since we started going into the catacombs. Where you got this little cutscene that posted on YouTube. Yeah, Vasily really is a source of exposition. I feel like, oh man, I hope people are gonna like this character because maybe he's like too much an author self-insert. Could be a little cringe, but we'll see. Like him. Got a little sound effect here. Wayne's kind of just forging his own path, using that big old sword to knock walls down and stuff. Not really something archaeologists really like people to do, I imagine. So, found a mysterious and potentially dangerous room that we should definitely go into. We got some bone piles on the ground. So if you saw on Discord where I posted about putting like a bone pile on every single walkable square, yeah, I did that, but it seems that hiding all of them at once crashes the game. Turn off the music. Yeah, if I hide all these bone piles at once, it crashes the game for some reason. Probably something to do with memory, not having enough memory and stuff like that, so I'm kind of having to like hide them in stages. I did some of them in the first opening, and then after, well, I could just show you, I guess. The opening one is what happens after the base preps. And I think we hide a lot of stuff. I think this is hiding the escape squares. And then opening 2, whatever that is. That's what happens after you have this little preparation repositioning screen. I just learned that. And I also learned that don't have, I believe it's opening 1 in your script at all. The game doesn't crash, but it actually skips the base preps, which is pretty sure either opening 1 or opening 2 that you just don't include, and you cannot have base preps. That's what they do in the early chapters in Path of Radiance, where we don't have the base yet. Don't have one of the openings, and I guess there's some code running in main.dol that says like after you get to the end of a opening 1 function, then you go to the base preps. But yeah, just after this little preparation repositioning, we hide the rest of the bone piles in this little method. But yeah, what am I talking about with bone piles? If you don't know, we've got these monster units, Skeleton Myrmidon and Skeleton Archer. These are from Raining Dawn, of course, and I was able to use my Blender plugin to kind of make them really skinny. Initially, I was thinking about doing these units, and I hadn't even thought about making that plugin. I was just gonna like retexture them and use like the alpha channel to have transparency and stuff like that. I tried to do that, but it ended up not looking good. So I'm glad I kind of looked into this implementation, which looks pretty decent. And we've got Ghost. Ghosts are if you're extra perceptive, you might see this is actually Vika's Raining Dawn model. And this was something that I could do with just retexturing and deleting and having the transparency. So yeah, it's just Vika with transparent wings. So that geometry is still going on. There's some flapping, but you just can't see the wings, so it kind of gives the illusion that it's just someone floating in place. This is just going to be another crow generic that has his wings mostly transparent. I think you can see like a pixel here and there that maybe I missed flapping around, but looks that actually. But yeah, hopefully these bone piles don't look too bad when they're right here, and they'll go away. That's character or something. When it comes to like the shading of the bone piles, their implementation included making the game think that they were a like an escape square, a arrive square, which then allows me to use the function build inst show or build inst hide. You just use build inst show or hide on any other kind of instanced object, like a map object, like this wall. It actually won't work. The game needs to think that it's like one of these squares that are like, yeah, this is something that we actually hide and show regularly. The game would normally do it in vanilla. Whenever it's like a cutscene, you don't want these annoying flashing squares that make it look like, you know, too arcadey or something. So yeah, if you just kind of like take the data that should be used for these and you just use this as a model instead and texture, then it says, yeah, it's fine to hide or show them. But one downside is that it seems that the shading kind of makes these very bright now, kind of similar to how this is a very bright object. Couldn't really get it to, I don't know, look normal. It looks like a bleached, a bleached white bone, but maybe eventually I will. Because there are certain like things about certain objects that I don't fully understand yet, but we will eventually. Like certain walls, when you're kind of selecting them like this and hovering over them, you can see that there's some transparency going on where you can see the foot of this archer behind it. It has to be some kind of like flag or parameter or something that's a part of these map objects that kind of says that, yeah, you can see through it whenever something's behind it. But some of them, maybe there's an example, I'm pretty sure, might be an example of some. But yeah, certain walls, like yeah, this wall that's in front of Zelgius doesn't have that property, where this one for sure does. You can see the wall behind. So yeah, it's interesting to see that hopefully we can document all those features of map objects in the future. Be good. Alrighty, so yeah, we've got these guys, and just wait a little bit more. But yeah, when you kill them, they turn into a bone pile. Little noise. Ah, we got a random event. So kind of like in the desert chapter and the vanilla game, where you can pick up random items. I set up something like that because I want to have this thing where you randomly find this piece of rubble that has like a seal on it, you know. And it's used to recruit this ghost girl. But I think I'm gonna move her into another room. Yeah. This map, it's not only the first custom map per se, with pretty much all custom objects. Of course, it's using the trial map 3 as a base, which if you've ever played it, I think the little banner says like a strange turn or something when you're playing the trial map normally, but it's kind of just like, you know, barren, just blank. There's like no furniture, no objects or something, and you just like start in the middle and you're surrounded by a bunch of high level enemies. But yeah, I thought that would be a good base to kind of make the first quote unquote fully custom map. But yeah, it's actually going to be 4 fully custom maps of all together, and these escape squares will actually lead to another copy of this map, but with the objects kind of swapped around, the walls changed, so it's kind of like a 2x2. Like, yeah, I mean, probably understand what I'm saying, but map here, map here, map here, and map here. They're all squares, and you start from here. You've got like a choice. Do I want to go here? Do I want to go here? And I plan to have Geshtina, the recruitable ghost girl, being in here. And I was thinking about making like a skeleton character that's a recruit in here. Not sure yet. I don't have like a name or anything or supports planned out. But I thought it would be cool. I haven't even done any. Just pause this music. Just looping too much. Dragon Seeds OST. Yeah, I haven't really even done any planning about this, but I just thought, yeah, wouldn't it be cool if you kind of discover this this rock in this first room that has like the ceiling for these ghosts, these skeletons, so they're kind of stuck in this room. Their soul is bound to the seals on this rock bed, right? And it's kind of like loose, right? So you can carry it around, and you bring it to them, and it checks your inventory to see if you've got it. And if you've got it, then you give it to them, and then they can leave with you because they've got their binding kind of in their pocket instead of like stuck on like a wall like it would normally be. You know, that's kind of like the plan, is that there's, you know, going to be a bunch of seals and runes and stuff. But I'll have to change the textures sometime. But yeah, anyway, you'll go through these, and then you'll eventually end up in the final room where we're gonna have a boss, zombie lion, according to the lore. But I'm making up just for the fun of it. But yeah, all these maps are gonna be unique, and right now I've completed this one. I've done the objects and the tiles for this one, but not the enemy placements. And I'll maybe do this one on the stream. Maybe this one? I don't know. But yeah, that's where we're at. Because I'm gonna have to do some scripting for leaving the room, this first room, and going to the second room that I have modeled out. And we need like flags to determine which room you're in, so I don't like end up repeating a lot of code and yeah, stuff like that. Let's take a look at the problem. So you have a kind of very simple function set up that actually allows us to leave the room first. I actually showed that. Oh my god, so much movement. Oh, and it's an error. I thought this worked. See, yeah, it's gonna crash. When I was testing it earlier, it definitely worked. Probably something to do with running out of memory, which, you know, was really fun to deal with. but try it again. At least when I went on the left side, it worked. I really doubt it would not work because side, but make sure. Surely this one's gonna work, right? And it does. Why it only works on the left side, I don't know. Alright, but yeah, that's why I went on the north exit first, because this one you would be actually coming in through here, and you'd have to make your way either through here, to this exit. Yeah, so if you notice about this one, the lighting is different, because I haven't used the functions that change lighting. I'll have to do that eventually. And the enemies are all the same. Like we've got this this zombie tiger up here. We've gotta actually respawn the enemies that were in the prior room. They actually stick around. You know, you would think you'd have to like change the dispos, like the spawn groups and stuff like that, and it would use the new ones. But nah, you just literally maybe I can show the code. I was really surprised when I tried this, but sure it's map load. Yeah, I was really surprised this works, but yeah, I mean, just say map free, which frees the map from memory and unloads the map that you're on. Then you just say map load. I'm using bmap 092. But yeah, you just load it in, and it works, surprisingly. So there's like maybe one instance of this happening in the base game, where Ike fights the Black Knight and Mist helps him out. You remember keenly, that is like a chapter that has two maps. You start in the map with everybody else, and then you escape with Ike to another room. So I guess it yeah, it works because it's in the original game, and the reason why you can't just unload and then load stuff in. And yeah, the units just stay where they were, and that's pretty cool. So I was thinking that, you know, I'd have to like really keep up on like which units are deployed and stuff like that, and that'd be really annoying. But really, I could just reposition them so that maybe if, you know, Elena's right here, or, you know, Elena's over here, when Dwayne exits the first map, then I could just reposition her to be right here, and then everyone could like have a little scripting event where they kind of all walk in, and yeah, it's like nothing ever happened. It's like as if I spawned them in again, but really I'm just moving them around. That would really fix something which I was wondering about, because thinking like, well, what if Roneo is at half health and then I despawn him, spawn him in? I'd have to do a bunch of things where I'd have to like remember what health he was at and then set his health, and that'd be really annoying. But yeah, since I don't have to like respawn them, they're gonna keep all their health values, and pretty cool. And give me... Alright, so since we can kind of test it, you know, by going to the left side, I don't know. I guess that means that we can do a little scripting and it won't crash again. To really investigate, it crashed, but alright, so we should probably just have some flags that kind of say what room we're in. So flags, startup, that's where all the other flags. But when you make a flag, it's gotta be registered. So register startup, and we're just gonna name it like in room 1. And the other ones. 2, 3, 4. All right. Where went that? In opening 2, just tell the game that we're in first room. So when we're doing, yeah, because like even though that we're loading multiple maps and stuff like that, we're still only going to be using this one chapter script. So we're gonna have to put all the code in there. It's kind of like in the original game where you're in the Sereness Forest. It makes it seem like it's 4, or is it 3, 4, I think, different maps, but it all uses the same chapter script. So all gonna be in here. It's all gonna be really long, and it's all gonna, these variables that you gotta pass through functions and stuff like that. Efficient. But I mean, I think, really if you just like repeat code like this, um, not huge concern, but nice for station, I guess. Usually we take a look at this right here. Usually the game will kind of like, at least in the vanilla, it will just have a space here and then use it like that, and you wouldn't have to repeat it for every unit that could possibly be there. But for some reason, it doesn't seem consistent for me, and sometimes the callback will not even proc. So uh, I found it when you explicitly state the PID like this, it might look inelegant, but it consistently procs, and that's what we're going for. We're going for consistency, even if it might not look pretty. All right, so gotta clear the flag for room 1 and set that we're going to do, write down what, or just maybe like this. Good. Oh, yes, we'll get. Yeah, I actually don't know if you can name these methods like anything you want. I've never really tested that, but for some reason, they're just all called A9, FN, and then a number. I don't know. I kind of just like to use the same naming conventions that the game uses because it makes it easier for other people, maybe. Because if it's like named, it's like a named function, you think, oh, this is something that's maybe uh like original, and maybe it's found in startup or something like that. So it's fine, but just more to keep track of and stuff like that. Like what is this? You read it and you really don't know what it is. All right, so yeah, we are getting the variable for shoes on the escape square. Focus is turning off, so we're gonna move them, and we don't want the camera to track them as they're moving. This takes their transparency off. They're walking upwards. This moves them, and it moves them in the 8 direction. Got a numpad, you can look at your numpad and see that 8 is kind of like up. Start from 5, 8 would be up, 4 would be left, 6 would be right, and 2 would be down. I asked ChatGPT if they had any theories on why was this the case, on why 8 is up and stuff like that, and apparently old school Japanese RPGs, you would instead of using WASD or the arrow keys, they would use a numpad and use those. And 5 is not down for some reason. I guess they thought it'd be really, really comfortable if 2 was down. I don't know. That's one way to remember it, at least. Game waits until they're done moving. It turns the fading off, escapes them. But it was for the test code, but really we shouldn't be escaping them because we're just going to reposition them. Being a bit, and yeah, I was testing too, but we're not going to escape them. Well, we are going to escape the enemies, but rolled away. So This one just indiscriminately loads map to bmap 09 to. Ideally, I'd want to kind of get the X and Y coordinates of this unit that went on the escape square and pressed escape to kind of track, oh, are they in the northern escape squares? If so, then go to this particular map. But as we saw in testing, the northern escape squares, I don't know if that's the issue or not, but for some reason they were leading to an error, and I don't know if I want to deal with that right now. But we only have one map ready to load in, so maybe we're going to add that later, but I'll just add a note. Yeah, since we're only ready to do room 2, just simple and hit this flag. And clear in room 1. That kind of makes it affirmative, like yes, you're here, this flag is active, and then clear kind of turns it off like a boolean. It'd be real awesome if they just use true and false, like C# or something, but it that way. They really don't use clear that much in the original code, and I've only learned about this recently because I just never saw it, so it's useful to use. All right, so we pretty much done that. That was, and yeah, I'm gonna set it up so it only works with Gawain. This is in contrast to the way I made chapter 2 work, where it was like the Thracia escape, where escape everyone. But you could do it multiple ways. You can make it escape with everyone, which I don't know, seems a little tedious. You could make it escape with anyone, and the first person makes it so everyone else escapes, which now a little too easy because you just use your maybe like a flyer like Chanty. Because just go to the escape square and escape everyone, or move everyone to the next map. That's probably too easy. I think a middle ground would be having to do it with Gawain, with unit, and once he goes in the escape square, then it kind of moves everyone else to the next map. I think that'd be fine. Maybe give some variety with the way escaping works, but maybe the clarity would go down. Pretty sure in chapter 2 I use orange squares. I forgot to. Yeah, I used the orange squares, and now I'm using yellow squares that called Sanctuary. Maybe that could be some way to have gameplay clarity. I really don't want to rely on having Anna come up and explain everything. So I think I'm going to do it where there's a talk event that happens. Like, if Gawain isn't the person that pressed escape, it's not going to work. And they're just going to say, oh, we need to wait up for, Sir Gawain. We don't want to leave him behind. And maybe that will give the player some reason to think, well, I should just escape with Gawain. Unlike in chapter 2, where I said, if you leave Gawain, if you escape without him, then you're going to get a game over. Hopefully that's satisfactory. So yeah, let me do the logic for this. All this is pretty much what happens if you actually have. So yeah, I'm gonna do an if statement. So if v0, the unit that actually initiated the escape command, they are equal to. Actually, I'm pretty sure use the unit by PID here. Yeah, it's pretty cool that you can use a function inside this parameter, and it should work. All right. Mm-hmm. And okay, this is not correct. Yeah, this is definitely not correct because this is getting the unit, not the PID. PID is a string. This returns unit, right? And I'm trying to make it equal a string, which is not right. I think the way that it should be done is like this. Yeah, I've seen it done like the game before, but it should be a string. And I use Ike for clean. Why do I do this? I don't have. I did it when I started the project, so I didn't have a great methodology worked out yet. But you know, I mean, it's not too hard because they're related. So we're getting the unit for Gawain here. So this variable is the unit object, and this one is unit. So it should be the same thing if this is Ike. So just do if v0 equals v1. That should totally work. Okay. And you're familiar with like if else. Pretty much this is going to be the if, and then the else is going to be down here, and then there's probably going to be like a label, which kind of functions as the enabler for the else statement to work. Go to L1, and you can have this kind of else stuff. So if the if condition is not fulfilled, then it will go to the else function. I guess the else logic, and then if it was fulfilled, it will actually skip. It'll skip the else because it's going to go to this label and continue on here, and this is probably just going to be the end of the method. Alright, so if it is going indeed in the flesh, we're gonna make him move up because this is supposed to be the north escape square. Gonna be going through that the corridor or whatever. We're not gonna escape him. Load the next map. Why did I put this here? It was 1515, which... Oh yeah, this was for testing loading to the map. Yeah, so if not, the else, if it's not, I do something. I'm gonna have another talk event. No. First we're gonna do a talk event here. And I actually haven't written this talk event, so what can we use? Like we can use these. Alright, I don't think much consideration really needs to be given to this dialogue. It's not going to be the most, I don't know, artful or whatever. I guess we'll just show. So yeah, this is an up-down conversation. You can tell by these this kanji is pretty simple to see. It's kind of like pointing up, and this one's kind of pointing down. So it's the kind of conversation that's usually played once you're already on the map, and it doesn't have like a background as art and stuff like that. This loads in the first slot, which is on the top, I believe. We're gonna just do Ike 2. This is gonna be the one where if it's Ike / Dwayne, make it. Go. And this one is gonna be me. He's basically just meaning whoever's this unit, and yeah, it could be anyone that isn't Dwayne. Well, thanks, Copilot. The command for pressing the A button. Yeah, you really don't need to know much for this one. This just selects who's talking. Yep, cool. Alright, so yeah, this is the else, and nothing really happens after that. We did this. Alright. So we should test that. Sure, I only change the script. Yeah, sorry if my voice isn't extremely audible, because I am kind of getting over a cold, which was one of the reasons I told myself I wasn't streaming development, but you know. Oh, yeah, actually, wasn't the only thing that I changed, because I changed the mess file. You did. We are gonna need to convert the ammo. Yep. Abyssal. I didn't say catabasis for stream. It's catabasis. Play 2 music at once. Okay. First test. See if knows that it's Gwen. Wait a minute. Not supposed to happen? There must be a flaw in the code. That's Sable. Yeah, and this is definitely not Sir Wayne. I wonder why this happened. Wait. Alrighty, so why did this happen? It'd be the same. Hmm. They're definitely labeled correctly. This is definitely confusing because it's quite simple. ADI. I'm definitely using that one, right? Be quite odd if I wasn't. Hmm. I mean, like the most common function that's used in the original, but it's using it. I really don't use this function that much, but Zelda, I guess. Oh, it's unit get by. That's why. Yeah, guys, I'm really good at scripting, I swear. You know, sometimes you think that it's like a logic problem, right? And for some reason you're just not understanding logic, but oftentimes it's the typo. And the logic was fine. Let's go! It crashed. Oh my god. You know where it still works. Sometimes it doesn't though. Well, hope we get that one where it still works after ignoring it, but I guess I'll figure it out at some point. It's probably just a memory thing. Maybe I'll just have to end up using less bone piles or something like that. Because I'm pretty sure it's just the hiding the bone piles that like stores too many things in memory. Like, we gotta remember where this is and stuff like that. Well, let's just keep on trucking along with the logic and worry about errors later. We do, programmer. Alright, yeah, so need a while loop for moving allies. And yeah, this is kind of like a new thing that I had never used before, but the game uses it seldomly. And the OG. It's this. But yeah, I got good old AI to explain this to me, and it's pretty much is very similar to just saying this is V0, this is V1, this is V2. But if you've ever played StarCraft, it's kind of like having a control group in a way, where a lot of times, if you want to use this while loop, which is like while this condition still met, then repeat this code over and over again. Like, we could just look at other while loops, and they almost always, except all these moments that it's using let v0 and then the brackets. And this moment too, when it's in the tutorial, it almost always, it almost always uses force get count, and that can be a bit limiting sometimes. We might use it also. I wanted to use let v0 in the brackets because it can actually not just be limited to your entire army and only do specific units. Oh yeah, now I remember why I wanted to use it instead of force get count. Force get count, it counts all the units in a specific army. So 0 would be the player's army, and it says, okay, you're using 10 units right now, and they're on the map. And that's going to be what V1's going to turn into. It's 10 in units. And then this while loop says, while we've still got a positive number that's not 0 here, then we're going to go through all of them, and eventually every iteration it gets minus by 1. So this was 10, going to go through once, and then it's going to become 9. It's going to be 9 here, go through it until it becomes 0. When it's 0, the while loop doesn't work anymore. Yeah, and force get first kind of helps with that, where it starts at the very first one, and then you kind of systematically work your way through the entire army. But there are limitations to using the force functions. Because what if, like in this case, you could have specific units that are either deployed or not deployed. You know, as I'm explaining it, I feel like maybe it doesn't make any sense. Because obviously if they're deployed, they're in the force. Maybe I should just use force get count and force get first. I'm just overthinking it. You know, I saw this, you know, this way to, back to this. I saw this way to do this where, I'm pretty sure they're using it here because we have these units that are probably like a mix of allied units and player units. Usually the EV version, like the event version of the characters, like this one, is usually a yellow unit. Because if you've ever hacked this game and you've used these, if you've used like certain units and cutscenes and stuff like that, you figure out why they actually use these. You know, on the cutting room floor, it says like, well, there's like an EV version to a lot of characters that are only used in events, and you know, it's not 100% sure why they do this, but it's more like if you make this a blue unit, like a player unit, then it will kind of enter the army as the game will figure out like we should actually put this. Oh, hey Sir Wolf, I just saw your message. As you'd imagine, I'm not really looking over the chat much because you know, kind of just me ranting on. But what's up? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there's a reason why, because you don't want these units that are not really Tiamat, not really Titania. You don't want them to really be blue units, because then they end up messing up with your army, and you see them in base, and then yeah, it's messy. You'd have to like use a function to send them to the graveyard or the warehouse or something, and it's much easier to do this. So kind of got like a mix of maybe yellow units and blue units, and you're kind of like constructing your own force instead of just using force get count. If you do this, you're kind of like making an array data, and it could be useful, but you know, actually I probably won't use it because I think force get count and force get first will probably be fine for us here. So this is the if statement that's saying that it is indeed Gawain, and we need to move maps into the second room. So I'm gonna move all the, not allies really, they're actually the player units, you know, allies are the yellow ones, right? Okay, so we're gonna move the player units, and we're gonna move them to the bottom of, yeah, this one. Oh good, we'll probably not write too much, yeah, of course. Yeah, it's really understandable because it's probably not super interesting. It's kind of complicated and hard to explain, and you know, I'm just kind of doing it here if people want to learn like how to make new maps in the future. You know, it's for prosperity's sake. Feel free to lurk. Alright. So yeah, we're gonna put them in the bottom because they're supposed to be kind of coming out through the north part of the first map and entering the bottom of the second map, which I've labeled the map 092. So yeah, it's pretty cool when you actually edit the tiles using Jade's FE9 map editor. It actually shows up on Paragon. So like these are walls here, and this is a door tile, so you can see the two doors, and chest is red. But yeah, we're gonna be putting them on the bottom here, and yeah. Question is, I'm really going back and forth in my mind if we need to use the force functions or not, because think about this. We're using almost every time it's used with a while loop. So one thing about force skid count and these while loops and stuff like that, it kind of like does like very similar logic to most things. Of course, you'll find later, you look at enough examples, that there's certain ways. I've never seen these. How do you spell query? Okay, this is in the startup. Right, here we go. This is what I was looking for. So we've got this example of this while loop, right? Where it's going through all the units in the enemy army, because 1 is the argument for enemies, 0 is players. And it's saying we're querying the GIG, which is the class, and we're saying if it's a priest, then make it have this AI for healing, and if it's not, then make it the attacking AI. I can't remember what chapter this is. Oh, it's chapter 8. So you could do like that. So it's not identical logic that's going through each time, because it's saying if it's a priest, do a certain thing. If it's not a priest, do a certain thing. But I've got a problem. Programming is all about problems and solutions. The thing we want to do is we've got these 8 squares where we want to kind of reposition all of our units onto. They're going to be all across the map, right? And we want to put them all here. And I don't know if this kind of while loop will necessarily kind of like, I don't know, like using some kind of algorithm to put one slot or one unit here, one unit here, one unit here. But when I was looking around at the let B0 and then the brackets, I can't remember what this is actually called, but it's kind of like an array. If you're looking at this example code, the vanilla, it does basically that thing. So it's 9 units. Yeah, because 0 is the first one. 9 units. And while this number is less than 9, it goes through this. And 11 is kind of like the slot, I'm pretty sure. So, long story short, it's kind of like putting each unit in a different place. This is setting the position, of course. So, I'm pretty darn sure this is actually a pretty good use case for what I want. Does this exact logic work in force skid count? Maybe, but you know what's a lot easier than figuring it out is copy and paste. Let's just actually get the whole method. Call it make edits. Already in a method here, but just right here. Make edits as needed. Alright, so we're loading the new map in. And let's call this New method. Do we need to pass any parameters? Don't think so. Alright, well, let's just go through and edit to our needs. So we're probably going to list out all the units that are possible to have. Grab that list over here. Actually, instead of screenshot, it'd probably be easier to put the text a bit. I can copy and paste. Yeah, I usually don't like to use unit get by PID because sometimes I feel like it's not like 100% reliable. Don't ask me why, but from my experience, not. But we're gonna use it here, and it'll probably work. But we'll see. First unit is Delane. And Bole, I'm actually using this for Bryce, and you can kind of remember that because of the B. But yeah, like when I was starting the project, I thought it'd be a lot easier just to replace PIDs, like replace Void with Bryce and stuff like that. But one unit I don't have to replace is Tyraneo, because the reins, if you didn't know. And yeah, in the same way, we're using Lofa for Lumbega. Largo is Delaney, Executioner. Lether, Letty, the Fable, Wolf. Using Kilroy for Elena. Using Gatry for Zelgus. Yeah, no, real intuitive, right? We're using Shanty, which I made. I actually start, getting in the habit of making my own PIDs at that point. And Vasily, oh man. I really wish it lined up perfectly, but of course it's not. And we're gonna have to like increment all these by one. Because I'm pretty sure, yeah, the reason why they start at V9 is because this would be 10, yep. Go through and add 1 to all these. Really, that'll work, right? This one needs to stay. Kind of like new ground when it comes to using this kind of logic, so kind of work. See. Song is such a banger. Alright, so don't have missed here. V12. Less than 5. Belt bulk. Don't think we need this. Label 13. Wonder why they use 13 instead of 4. The next one. And I guess this is the chapter where you get Volk, so they think, well, they're gonna have it for sure, right? Actually, you have a choice to turn Volk down, so who knows why this is not inside the array. Alright, and now we need to figure out the positions. This is the direction. You haven't noted down in directions are. Yeah, and they're kind of nonsensical, I feel like. I don't have all of them here, but probably good enough because we have north 8. All these 8. Alright, so if we look at the new map, and these coordinates are going to start here at 3, 8. I think we need one more of these, actually, for the 9th unit. Or 10th unit. Starts at 3, 8, and then X goes up by 1, 6. Alright, and then next row, here there's only 8 deployment slots. Oh, please just saying. Okay, but since there's only 8 deployment slots possible, we're gonna stop at 7. Because it would be impossible to basically have anyone else here. Pretty sure the logic works that way. Edited. Calling it from here. Okay. We're repositioning all the units that could be somewhere. Oh. I really don't know if this is gonna work, but here's a trying, I guess. What it's all about. Now that I think about it, putting all the units in different squares really isn't what I would do, because they're probably going to have some kind of like an event that makes them kind of pour out of the door and stuff like that, and I'll change camera angle and stuff. They probably all would get put in the same square and then kind of pour out as they're fading in. But let's just see what it looks like, or if it horribly doesn't work. Or if it crashes. And it crashes. Does it? Oh, okay. Well. It did crash probably because of memory, because of all these darn bone piles that I have been hidden. But, wow, it pretty much works. Did I only deploy 7 units? Wait. I think so. Yeah, I think I only deployed 7 units. Okay, well, shoot. Sometimes it just works first try. But yeah, so we have units like this, which are grayed out because they moved once, right? And I'm pretty darn sure there's a way to clear that status. It's kind of like a status effect. Look at. ever so useful all G scripts. We've got clear status. And only 11 instances of it in the entire chapter scripts. But I'm pretty sure the grayed out status for someone moving is just 1, so we could do that. But should we do it? That's the question. Should we make everyone grayed out? Because it kind of make more sense to start a new turn. That's something. Should I just refresh everybody and not care about turns? Well, we still have the turn counter in the top left. Should that just end the turn? Should I just have it so that it's the way it is right here, where Bryce moved, he's gray, and now he can't move again? Man, quite a head scratcher when it comes to which one's better. Definitely will need testing, but we'll just try to see if the clear status works. Why not? All these are V11. If we just spam this code, it'll work. No problem. And we do have these coordinates that they're supposed to be in eventually, and we'll use those coordinates later. I should probably do it right now. What's next on my checklist? Complete all this. Yeah, sorry if I'm mumbling because, you know, I'm not used to like speaking out loud while I'm coding. You know, I'm just kind of going at it. All right, let's see. I'm kind of soft-spoken anyway. Let's see. Alright, so we're on this step. Next is despawn enemies. Probably more important, but yeah. Do both of these. Alright, so like I was saying, we're gonna do something similar that I did in chapter 5, where I have pretty sure it's the unit move function. Of course, we're gonna get, yeah, unit move position. Or is it this the one that instantly like blinks them there? You really think I would actually remember all these functions by now, but they kind of all have similar names. We should look through them. We're not going to use direction. Alright, yeah, move position, that's it. So, gonna be V11. And this is where we're gonna use this coordinate. We're gonna put them actually all in the same slot, and then we're gonna fade them in, and they're gonna move to the place that they're supposed to be in a little mini cutscene. Put a function call on each of these. And transfer all this over. Alright, and then we want all of them to kind of start on a specific square. Sadly, this is an even number, so we don't have a real middle part of the map, but I will just pick 4, 9, I guess. They're all gonna start on the same square, and I was first getting hacking, I thought, well, is it gonna crash the game if they're all the same square? And no, it doesn't. You can put everyone basically getting the same clown car. They'll just all come out of it. Alright, we do this really. Yeah, in the scripting cutscene before, where it's the sinking shot and it starts on the island and sinks down, and then we have the underground part. I do have them all kind of pouring out from one location, and it's good to just kind of look at that reference. So here we do use move direction, which is like this, but of course we're just going to use fade. Should be fade, but this is when they leave. They fade in. Okay, so this is left, left, up, up. Yeah, this is where they go out. Okay, so when do they go in? Ah, here we go. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know why I need to see this reference, but yeah, they fade in, waits, and fade off. Yeah, pretty. But yeah. Question is, can we just do this code one time? You know what they say, don't repeat code. But sometimes when you're doing while loops, it doesn't like that. And it would prefer if you, we'll just do it. Let's just do it before the call this crazy method. Supposed to be off. All right. But we probably do need to do. We don't need to do wait here, because then it would be like one person moves and then we need to finish the moving and it moves to the next. So the wait code. It's good to have the wait code because we don't want too many things moving at once. And you'll see that if you look at the original code, it has, you know, wait for fading and wait for moving, because it's just good practice. We'll just put it here. Alright, so we probably need to move the camera so that we're actually looking at the southern entrance of the second room. And whenever you're coding, you don't just start typing, you just copy and paste. Something that you see in the original code from the vanilla game, or something you've done before and you know it works. Because why reinvent the wheel each time? So in the first room, we can search for bmap. Actually, it's not bmap, it's actually trial. Trial 03, which is what I'm using for the first room. We load this in and change the lighting. And then we have that kind of establishing shot where it turns a lot. And then we use a instant focus set map camera. What we use. Yeah, this is going to be an angle that's looking at the south entrance, so you can actually see what's happening. So it maps, it loads in. Do we want to have like another kind of like establishing shot? Probably not. But we probably do want to fade from black. It would look really awkward if it's just black from a unloaded map, and then it pops back in. So fade from black. Believe it or not, I have not memorized which all the different fades do what. You know, some of them are fade from white. Pretty sure this one just makes it black because it needs to be black while it's loading in. Is this freaking Mongolian throat singing? Yeah, so this is the fade from black. The 2 means fade from black. So we're gonna do this one. It's just like a transfer from one opaque screen to another, I'm pretty sure. And then where was I? We lost. Yep, here we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is fade from black. And this is a good idea to do. Fade that just makes it black. I mean, it's really not a fade, it just really instantly goes black. Okay. This should probably actually after the map load. To check in the original where they use this. That's before the map load, okay. Yep. Don't need this, wait. We'll put it right here. Okay. We're fading from black, but we do need this instant focus at some point. Probably needs to be before the fade. We need something to fade to, but hopefully it doesn't crash. Question is, like, are the coordinates loaded in like immediately after? Probably. Sometimes if you do things too fast, it crashes. Alright. That good enough to test? Oh, probably. Let's test this bad boy. Alright, fingers crossed. Alright, and we can ignore this. Just ignore all the errors. Okay. I have to frame by frame this. Okay. Button and press pause. Simulator. I mean, legally acquired to GameCube. Alright, so it switches around. I mean, this is kind of nauseating, but somewhat acceptable, maybe. And it looks like the units have not been repositioned yet. Yes, had not been. Maybe we need this function here, but not the unit move weight. Then it would stop us from actually running code that changes the camera angle. Okay. Let's see what else happens. Yep, so they're all in this one slot. One coordinate. Pouring out, and they're all looking in different directions. That's because I forgot used for making people face big direction. I'm blank on what it's called. I know dir is part of it. I'll probably see it somewhere near. Yeah, unit walk direction. We do this to make it so that they're all facing a specific direction, even after they move. And in my notes, I actually noted down what they are. So we want them all looking north, and this one actually lines up with the numpad where 8 is up. But it's not like it for all of them. You know, east is 2, but the east is down when they're like using the other function that moves in directions. It's not consistent. Okay. Are there any other observations? They're important. Oh yeah, and we need to 7 fade and make sure it's a typical camera angle. What is the typical camera angle? I know it has a 14 in it somewhere. Oh, okay, I'm pretty sure it's this one. This is the more typical camera angle. Okay, yeah, I just happen to just be right on it. Yeah, good will do. Man, I swear I haven't fully nailed down what weight F even means, but it seems like they use it a lot in the vanilla code, so we'll use it here. So 7 fade is the kind of transitionary fade. We're gonna have this skewed camera angle, and then it's gonna fade to what we put here, which is kind of the top down. This 40 is kind of like a 45-degree angle looking down. 40, you know, is it the pitch of the camera? I'm pretty sure 15 is like the zoom or something. Why exactly this is 15, this is 14? Don't know. Maybe it zooms in slightly for like a second. Can't remember. We don't have an event camera, so we don't need to delete one. Like, we'd have these hard focus weights because it's doing like a transition, and want it to actually complete that before moving on to other things. We have unit move weight here. Should probably be somewhere else. Along with buddy, I'm gonna fade off. Yeah. Starting the fade. Put it here. Okay, so they're all gonna move, and then we should probably wait for a little bit before immediately transitioning to the other camera view. So Maybe like 800 game ticks. Sounds fine. And might as well do the lighting now. So if we just search for ambient, that's functions, and be sure this is the arguments / parameters for the kind of sunset lighting. This is the one for the dark and dank lighting, which is kind of blue. Yep, so we load in the new map, and we need the good lighting. Matches. Like we're underground. Slash kind of underwater. Okay, let's see. We moved the player units. Did this. Now we need to despawn the enemies. So typically, whenever like a map is over or something, they'll just escape all units escape. Really not consistently named, is it? All units escape? Yeah. They didn't really consistently name these things. Okay, they usually do this, but all units really means all units, and it would escape our player units where we want to actually maintain their integrity. And we only want to escape the enemies, because escaping the enemies from the first room, and we want to load in new enemies for the second room. So all unit escape would kind of be overkill. What you normally do when you're ending a map, but here we're ending one map and going to another one. Where do we want to do that? Probably just do a method for that, just for the sake of clarity. Do 61. But here, there's definitely nothing wrong with using it. Yeah, because there's two of them. Okay, yeah, there's blue. Okay, yeah, there's definitely nothing wrong with using the force functions here. Just use one that's kind of simple. Not this simple. Okay, so yeah, this one is a pretty good one. Very simple, and normally this is in startup, and it breaks up units that are paired, like rescued. But we can just kind of build this code. Japanese developers of intelligent systems. Alright. Yeah, 61. Alright, so it's gonna go through all the force. It's not gonna do this, it's going to escape them. Unit escape. Alright, I know this one. And this one actually has two parameters. Really strange, but yeah, there's gonna be like a million like this. Yeah, it's like this, where there's a 0 here, which presumably just means like, yeah, you're gonna escape them, bro. I don't even know what 1 would even do. Not escape them? Then why are we using this function? I don't know. I guess maybe you could like pass 1 in and use 1 sometimes, use 0 sometimes. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so Which one is the one that's being... B2. Yep. B2 gonna be each enemy unit. And yes, they're going to be escaped. Alright, yeah, that's quite simple. Yeah, okay. Now I haven't set up the dispos, like the deployment for the second map. So I would be spawning them in here. Like something like this. Put a note there. Okay, so we pretty much did all this, right? We'll do these other room flags later. Wayne only, talk event, loop for moving player units to kind of do that little pouring out of one square. We did the camera move. We despawned them all. Alright. Just get that off. And load correct, yeah, correct map. I think we're gonna do this when we have more maps actually made. And we did the lighting. Alright. Manage chest and door flags. Yep, so this. Yep. If we look at this, we do have a chest here, and the chest is more than just a map object. It is actually in the chapter script. Like here. Yeah, it's an environmental 5 callback, and 12 is the code for treasure. And these are the coordinates. But these are the 2 treasure chests that are in the first map, and pretty much this code's still going to run while we're in the second map, because we're still using just this chapter script, and this code doesn't go away. But this last parameter is the flag, and as long as the flag hasn't been set, then we'll still run. But what we can do is we can just set these flags as we leave the first room. So that there won't be any shenanigans with perhaps maybe they're on 1-8 in the other rooms, and then they're gonna get this unlock chest command or something. So if we just set the flag. Yeah, if we just set the flag, then it's not gonna pop up anymore, even if we didn't end up looting it. And yeah, even if we did loot it and it's already set, I'm pretty sure the game's not going to freak out if we just say set it again. That's going to be super true. Alright. Now, we do have other treasures. I think we have, yeah, we have 2 more treasures. We'll just call them 3 and 4. So, if we're properly managing these flags, that means that we should set this as true when we go into the first room. So that it doesn't end up interfering with the first room logic. And then we'll end up clearing it. Yes, we're going to clear it when we exit the first room. Go into the second room. Oh yeah, and this is the callback for the escape square. We can actually do this right here where a flag associated with it. There probably should be a flag associated with it because we don't want these squares to erroneously rock on the other rooms that don't have those specific tiles as escape squares. So these will need to be made and managed appropriately. A clipboard? No. We're gonna change these to clear instead of set. So player will have a chance to actually open these chests. So we manage the chest flags. A lot to be done every time I make a new room. And the doors. So the first map doesn't have any doors, but this map does have doors. Now if we look at chapter 4 of 4 Riders, this is chapter 1, started on C19 for some reason. Chapter 2, chapter 3, we do have doors. This is an important door callback. Build destruction. Wait. I'm tripping. This is chapter 3. Really confusing, right? This is chapter 4, and ignore that. Yeah, this is the callback for doors. 11. Everyone's got that memorized, right? 11 means door callback. But yeah, we can just see that it has door open here, and you have this flag. So I'm pretty sure we're just gonna manage the flag in the same way. Copy this. Usually it's a good idea to kind of group all the callbacks of a specific type together. So we're just gonna put this next to the treasure one. Yeah. Before I do that, we also need to do 3, 4. To that. Make them all origins. We got a chest in 08. And 85. Alright, yep, sounds good. Okay, what was I doing? I was doing the door flag. We haven't made this yet, but just call it door 1. Very creative. Alright, so in chapter 4, this is used to make everyone look at you as you're opening the door. That's because they had a roof over it. And it's like, just we're aware of the presence of the person that opened the door. But here, we kind of don't have a roof. And we can even see through this wall. I really wanted to have a roof, but I couldn't get it to work with the map editor. I try it. But we're just going to go with these walls for now. So we're not going to do this. Question is, does this door open function, is that used to reveal the roof or not? Or is it just simply open a door? Probably just opens the door, right? But then which function would be used to change the roof though? How many functions that have to do with the roof? I don't know. We'll have to see in testing if it crashes it or not because there's no roof. Alright, so I guess 270 is probably how long animation takes to open the door. Possibly. Oh, we didn't do the coordinates. This door. Or 1. 1, 2. Next one is 8-2. And 8-7. And we gotta register these flags. Alright. In case you wanted to know, you can have flags in English. In Japanese, if you look at or in the original scripts, see that they're all Japanese pretty much, but yeah, you can just have them in English. A string. Alright, this should work, but the issue is we should probably do our due diligence and make sure that they only apply for the second room. Gonna get annoying. Every flag is gonna have to be set for second room, the third floor, or the fourth room. Another one. Alright, we set all those, and now we need to clear them. Cool stuff. They're cleared, they're able to be activated later. Alright, managing escape flags. So initially we weren't using escape flags. Yeah, we just had no flag here. But doing our due diligence. Do this. Good way to name them. Maybe off of the room names. This is gonna be... I wonder if we could pass this into this function. Touch method. Because the issue is, this is for an escape square. And some of these maps are going to share escape square locations. Like, if we look at this second room, we have escape squares here on the left. But in the first room, look at this, we have escape squares in the same place. So we don't want them to get confused with each other. Both on 4-0 and 5-0. I guess we could just have very similar logic. I guess we would be repeating code here, but here's... So 4-0. So 4. So yeah, 4-0 is at the top. This is going to be escaping from room 1. And the same way, these two squares are going to be going from room 1 to room 3. And I guess we should manage these flags. Yeah, I guess we gotta register them first. It is cool once you register these flags here. You can use the debug menu in game to see their completion status. I just figured that out. It's a very awesome angle. Okay, event? Yeah, registered. No. This is a registered function. Ah, edit flags, yeah. I thought I was gonna see the flags that I had here, but these are just the global flags. And these global flags are set in startup, I believe, and it's pretty useful. What does this say? Taiwan. Rizabeto. Enon. Enon. I guess this is something to do with him joining back. Lete. I don't know where this is used, but surely this unit one's important. Where's the one's registered function? Okay, I think that actually posts, yeah, that posts into the debug on Dolphin. I remember a lot of things in the debug menu, when you're going through them, you click on them, you know, you press confirm, and it just does nothing. But on the Discord, Jade was able to help me figure out how to look at the OS report logs that are posted using printf. Here we go. Here's some test code I was doing. But yeah, you can actually print this stuff. And in the same way that you can watch the printf functions actually post things and look at variables, you confirm this for registered functions. It'll end up posting a bunch of stuff in the logs in your Dolphin. So that was pretty sick. Learned that the other day. You could even look at memory usage. So that's where I figured out that I had no extra memory, and maybe that's why I was getting errors. But that actually ended up posting. Kind of complicated, but I understood what 0 meant. Nothing could be spared. Didn't I say that there was flags here? I thought I saw this before, but maybe I'm just thinking about this. But this should be all the... Wait, maybe it's the end. It was just at the end. So yeah, we can see that we're currently in room 2. And these are the flags that are registered, that are custom. And yeah, this is the bone pile that was activated from that one skeleton Bryce had to kill in order to get into the second room. Yeah, very helpful for testing things out. You can see the flags that are turned on and off. Sick. What was I doing? Let me do escape flags. Alright, so this escape tile now only works if this function is not fulfilled. So, it's cool. These ones on the north, wasn't it? Yeah, these ones on the north go to the second. So, going here. What's the method 30? It's not always going to be set because it can fail if it's not with general claim. So it should be here that we set it, along with the other flags. And if we're actually exiting the room, the other flag is going to be that we shouldn't have available either, because we're not going to have 1, 2 something going to be in room 3, or maybe 2. Okay. That's all I need to do with these. Register them, and then we set them. Yeah, I think so. Alright, so we did this, and reposition, we already did this. On enemies. I don't have enemies set up yet. Do that. Grouping position. Did that. Talk event. I already did that, I think. Yeah. I just need to put her in the second room, which all the other enemies. Maybe we'll do that now. Hide boon piles. Yep, there's definitely boon piles here. You need to go to the bathroom. We can come back. Alrighty, I'm back. Let's see, so doing this. Are we gonna put enemies in? Yeah, I guess we could do that. Pretty simple, a little tedious though. Might as well hide bone piles before though. Oh, but that's actually extremely tedious. I have to like get the coordinates of all the bone piles I put in here, so I'm not gonna do that right now. I mean, enemies. Go to show like what that entails. So we have all these enemies in the dispo. And so far I've been making these chapters, I've just been putting them in normal Bard and Maniac. This is easy mode, of course. And I've been using all of them because I'm like, well, down the line, when I actually change them up, that'll be easier. I've just been making all the changes to all of them, which is a bit tedious, but maybe it will save me some work, and I'll do easy and Maniac difficulty at some point. Probably at the end. But yeah, actually, I thought this was gonna be really tedious, but I just learned somehow, never knew this before, but do multis, it makes it a lot easier. I've actually done that before. I've just like copied this, you know, Control C, and then go to the map that I want to put it on, and oh shoot, this is not even loading the correct dispo. Because originally this is like a cutscene map, and it only needs the common dispo group. Well, this is the dispo group. This is the, I don't know, even superior group. But I need dispos that are from, like, we see here. These are actually dispos that I stole from map 9, because it has all the difficulties and stuff like that. And you know, Thane was cooking. He was making Paragon. You can actually add groups, right? Like this, Ikada. This is a group, but this difficulty thing is not something that you can add. No option for that. So we're in our situation where we're stuck at just common. And just add the difficulties. So kind of need to steal it from something like this. And here, this is the map that I use for chapter 5, which is originally trial map 2, where you're on the island. But I just changed it to bmap 12, and I just put the mapped.bin in that particular folder. Because I thought, well, I'm gonna need the bmap 12 dispos or something, you know. It's just a random map. This is, I think, Blood Runs Red. Normally, maybe we can see this the cutscene version. But really, I'm pretty sure you could just drag and drop the dispo file into the folder where this is. But why is Paragon not reading it? I thought I already did that. Sure. And I know you have to reload and stuff, but oh, it was. Change. Okay, on the second. We just try to grab one I used here. Yeah, I mean this is the same thing, right? Little concerning. Okay, this should be from trial map 3, which has difficulties because I stole it from bmap 9. If we reload Paragon and go to the map module, make sure we closed it from the old instance. Go to the map module. Surely it's just gonna show up, right? No. That's weird. What about we take it from 4? That would, I mean, we just need the difficulties. We could maybe use multis for transferring all the other stuff. Aha! Don't have the difficulty. That's odd. Because here, I'm definitely using different dispos. I'm using bmap 9's dispos. Wonder why it's not realizing that. Maybe if it's got like a underscore and a number, it thinks that you really shouldn't have difficulties or something. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Clearly, Paragon is just saying, hey man, this is the name of the folder. You got a folder, you got a dispo in it, right? So let's just read that and not really care, even if it doesn't even line up with the name of the folder. Not a packing thing, right? I recently packed this up, and I mean, it doesn't even refer to any like dispo name. Quite a confusing one. I mean, I'm not on the wrong route, am I? It's amusing. Just close. Quite a confusing conundrum. Oh, I think I have to do this. Old Windows 11. I love it. Alright. What I'm using right now. Yep. And no dice. Weird. Why does it just want to use this con? Oh, from FE9 too. Well, one thing we can do is we can just try to transfer everything onto FE9 and see if it works. So this is the map EMP that we want, that has all of our edits. And I don't need to make a backup because I have a clean root anyway. And we want to get the dispo from trial 3. And then Paragon's gonna recognize it for sure. Wow, it's like magic. It shouldn't be like magic though. But where did the units go? That's quite strange. We should have units here. If I'm copying from this one, it should be exactly the same, right? That's weird. Well, this is pretty unexplored territory when it comes to just like stealing dispos and putting them in different maps. So can't be too mad if I do indeed have this and it's got the difficulty. So maybe if I use multis for the first time, maybe I can just kind of port it over. So I gotta also remember how to use this. So original units that I want to port over gonna be in Trial 03, the first map. This kind of switches over the dispo groups, but does it do units as well? Am I really gonna use this just to change the units over and replace the same exact group? Okay, well, then let's put. Okay, and we can copy this to something. Oh, maybe this is just only used within a dispo file. That'll be it. This is like data that's in the dispo group. Like, yeah, one of these is the name of the army that we recently talked about in Discord, which I still don't 100% understand how that works, but the other guy figured it out and got it to change. And this is the label, so you could change it into another. Okay, so actually this doesn't help, so maybe multis is not my savior. Awesome. Okay, so if we can copy a group and then paste that. I've never tried doing that. Let's try. Get this. Let's try to copy it. this is where it gets really tedious. Having to copy units that you want to use from other maps. And I mean, doing it from scratch, like over here, is definitely not worth it. Let's see. And Control V, no dice. Yeah, you have to like add a placeholder and then copy from here once you've got a unit. Well, that's gonna be awesome. But yeah, I mean, doing this project, it involves a lot of tedious stuff. So sometimes you just gotta, you know. Okay, so yeah, that's how you gotta do it, and then you can put them in different places. So luckily, we don't actually need the kata, because we already spawned it in. And we only need one of these. You know, I'm wondering, we do need to do a test, actually, whether it uses the dispo from the newly loaded in map, or if it just keeps the dispo from the first map. Nice that we have a lot of groups already in here. So, the testing is on hard difficulty. This is for the skeletons that spawn in at the bone piles when they're resurrected. And this first is all of the initial enemies that are in the first map. Then, we could do a test where make this like a ghost. So we'll make a skeleton. Skeleton here. On it here. Then on the other map's dispo, we'll make this particular dispo group a ghost test. Okay, and for some reason my Paragon doesn't remember what icons I set up for this class, this board, but alrighty. And this ghost unit is actually technically a Laguz, like a dragon. Okay, so we can save this. Go. And yeah, we're going to be using BMap FE9 for the time being. Question is, why is it smaller? Huh. Okay, gotta focus. It's getting hard to concentrate. Okay, you need to look at the script and call something different. Alright, so we are calling bmap 09_2, but changing it. Just 09. Transfer over this script change. But we actually need to instant dispo. And it's called Z01H for now. Actually, I'm gonna do info rank. Calls it from all the difficulties, and hopefully it doesn't crash because there's no other difficulties. I missed an underscore. Okay, I think that's... No, it's not everything. Because I forgot to change the dispo from the first map. This is really testing my working memory. That's what I mean, I guess. Okay. Alright, surely we'll be able to test this. Spawns a skeleton, it's using the dispo from the first map. Spawns a ghost, being the second dispo. Be useful to know. Spawning in the next wave of enemy. Wait, I'll do it with Gwen. And I think I give an error maybe? Or, oh, and it's just that good old magenta screen. Bug. That's unfortunate. I wonder why it's just kind of inconsistent. Sometimes it crashes and sometimes it doesn't. What if we just try again? Sure. I mean, when you're programming, things shouldn't be random, right? It should be consistent and it matches up every time. But why in the world does sometimes it crashes? Sometimes it doesn't. Let me just experiment. Can we ignore it this time? No. That's unfortunate. Even the left side escape crashes now. You know, you might think, well, surely if you hide all the bone piles as you're leaving from the first map or something, or from the second map, then it'll be better, but I think hiding bone piles uses more memory than it being there or something. It's crazy. I wonder. We can't test that, then we're running out of things that we can actually test before I go in a very boring and uninteresting error fixing session. So we couldn't do the test for which we used. I mean, I guess technically we could do this. We'll take a look at that. So we have a recruit event for Tina, the ghost girl. And it's the function where it happens. So yeah, okay, so let's imagine that Vasily talks with Geshtina. We get Vasily, we get Geshtina, we send them through this function, comes out on the other side, we got these variables, and we're comparing Vasily with the global v14 function. And what is that, you might ask? Earlier on, whenever someone found the piece of rubble, the rock that had like a seal on it, that is kind of like Geshtina's binding, or maybe recruitable skeleton's binding, we're gonna say. This is like a random chance that when they walk on a square, they'll find it. Here, it says that the unit that finds it turns into the global V14. So we save this unit that finds it as a global variable, and it can be used in any function or method in this chapter script. And it's very useful to use these G variables. Something I really didn't use, or maybe like I only started using them like last chapter, but yeah, it's very useful. Normally variables would only be like encapsulated within this like particular function or callback. Excuse me. So G14 is the person who found it, right? Okay. We established that. Question is, why are we doing it this way, right? Because the person that finds the rock isn't necessarily the person that's going to have it in their inventory whenever they talk to Geshtina. Because let's say Vasily finds it and then he trades it to Elena. Then Vasily talks to Geshtina and he doesn't have it. And then he recruits her when he gives it to her or something. It shouldn't work like that. That's kind of like bad logic, right? But the problem is, I found it hard. Actually, I don't know if I thought about the idea of using the function for searching for item. I remember I thought about it, and then I decided that that wouldn't be possible. But why did I think that? Maybe a couple days ago. So we do have this unit search item function, and could it be used in this instance? See, why not? So we kind of have it so that anyone can talk to her, and then it just searches for the item, and I have it right here, searching for the item. Yeah. Why don't I just use this from the get-go? Why do I use this global variable? Should probably do it like that. Maybe I can just rework that right now. Because this will be just in the first room, so I don't have to worry about going to other rooms and not working. Maybe I should just not use G14 in this way. I don't even register here. Normally, whenever you use let and then G something something, in startup, in the original file, like in the original vanilla script, they declare it as 0 on startup. Maybe it's just a good thing to do, but I forgot to do that. But maybe I'm just not going to use it. Use G14 for something else later on. Let's just see if we can not do that. Okay. So V2, what is V2? Yeah, V2 is just this, the result of this function. Okay, of course. So let's just put this right here. So normally when you do this and you have a function find you like a variable or something, if it returns as like null sometimes, I mean you would consider it null in like C# or something, like, oh, it didn't work, it didn't find it. It'll actually be 0. You'll store 0 in V2. So here we can just say if V2 is not 0. Like this exclamation mark says not. And I'm pretty sure it's not 2 equal signs in this kind of script. Yep, 1. Equals more affirmative. Okay, so if V2 is not 0 and they did find the rubble in the inventory, rock with the seal, then we're going to do the meet and talk and transfer to our party. And gonna search for the item. And then if we do find the item, it's gonna be a value that's not 0, but it's gonna be the kind of object for the item. Just turn this into, let's just make this V3 so it's not confused with the other variable. Well, actually, if we find it once, we could just use it and not rely on it. Call it a variable. Don't repeat code, kids. Okay. So this is how do you say the word? Not needed. Okay. So yeah, it's not 0. That means that it is in the inventory. And we're going to delete it from the inventory of the person who started the talk conversation, which is V0. And we're going to add it to the inventory of the Gashtina, who's going to be receiving it. And when we use unit add item, it doesn't show. That's another function for showing it. I think it's unit item showing, something like that. But yeah, we don't need to be shown. Because I don't think it would say like, oh, Gashtina got this item. It would just say, you got blah, 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 blah. Okay. Setting this flag. Yep. But yeah, so like I said before, this is kind of like the else part, where if this if condition is not satisfied, then it goes to here. And if it is, then it's skipped. So this is the conversation that basically, I think, says that, I think she just alludes to needing the binding rock or something. My binding's been scattered. Me, a ghost that isn't trying to kill me. Yep. Done. Okay. What's happening here? Unit get 14. Oh, we were just doing some. I was just doing some stuff. I actually figured out where some of the unit get stuff are. With the help of the logs that Jade figured out. I did write some of it in my scripting notes. Hold on, actually. Yeah, like 11 here is going to be the biorhythm, and 12 is the max HP, 13 is HP, and so on. That's pretty cool. You can actually use scripts to find out, like, you know, is this person lucky? Do they have a lot of luck? And that's pretty sick. Question is, what about unit set? If I want to set someone's luck to something, I did test it out, and it didn't show on the unit stat screen. But does that mean that it's not actually being changed internally? Because one thing that I saw was that I was testing it on Taroneo, and I set his HP to a low number, and HP is something that actually does show on the stat screen. But, yeah, when I changed his skill, or when I got his skill, it gave me a number like 38. No, did it? Yeah, it gave me a big number. I don't think it was that big, but it gave me a number that was boosted by his resolve skill. But when I looked in the unit stat screen in the game's UI, it's going to be different than this boosted by resolve skill. So I'm thinking new tests need to be done when it comes to like using unit set and setting someone's like speed or something, because when it comes to like personal skills and stuff like that, that would be very helpful. It actually worked that way. Okay. So I think we're just deleting the stuff, yeah. Okay, I think we're just gonna test this Justina recruit conversation. And that'll probably be it. Okay, so first we need to have a unit that hasn't got the rock yet, talk to her, and see what happens. So Bryce definitely doesn't have the rock. Wait a minute. This should not work this way. Why do I hear this really awesome Beat 2 theme? I really like the way this sounds, because it's kind of like tragic sounding in a way. But he doesn't have the rock in his inventory. But it's going off. Is this the reason why I wasn't using unit search item? Does it not work? Wait. Let me just look at the script one more time. Did I make a typo? Maybe the way I use this is erroneous or something. So we're searching Bryce's inventory for rubber. I'm pretty sure this is used in the vanilla at some point in this a similar fashion. So let me just do the tried and true. Look at the way it's used in game. This is if it is a thing. Maybe we just switch around the if else like this. Not the most the best thing for learning, but we could do it that way. This is if it's true. Did they just do it this way every time? Maybe this doesn't actually return 0 if it's false. And it doesn't find the item. Huh. Well. This learning? Did we learn something? Alright, so now... So this is if they have it. Hard to wrap my head around. Okay. It's being searched for. If it's more than or equal to 0. Ah, so maybe I should have thought about this. Equal to 0, so... Be 0 even if it's found? Yeah, I don't know why this is used. Who knows? Then... Like this. Wait, so maybe I shouldn't even... swap the if and else. Why did I do that? Alright. I should read before it. Okay, surely this will work. This. Alright, Bryce doesn't have it. thank goodness. Probably adjust that spacing a bit. Okay. 4 dots. Alright, and let's find it. Someone's gonna have the luck required. Actually, I think it's just a flat, like... Oh, Helena, lucky girl. Okay. It just works. First try. First try. So perceptive. Yeah, I mean, the dialogue here, is it good? Maybe I'll rewrite it at some point. Kind of hard to write for a ghost that's been alive for like 650 years. Flash dead. That's theme song. Alright, and for all that, we got it to work. And got white breath attack. Woohoo. This is like the animation from Vika transforming, but we can use it for magic. Pretty cool. Alright, well, that's probably all I can get done without, you know, without running into these errors that have to do with memory or something like that, so I'll get that fixed and continue development. Will I stream it? Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. But, yeah, if you're watching the VOD or along,